Can you beat a Pokemon Nuzlocke using only Pokemon that start with the letter E? The answer is yes, but this is not about the destination, it's about the journey. And let me tell you, the journey is frustrating. In Pokemon Platinum, there are 3 Pokemon lines that start with the letter E. Are 3 Pokemon enough to beat a Platinum Nuzlocke? Let's find out. I'll be trying this challenge with Hardcore Nuzlocke rules. Those rules are listed here as well as in the description. Additionally, I'll be playing with my letter lock rules, which means I can only catch a Pokemon if its species name begins with the letter E or it evolves into a Pokemon that does. If the Pokemon is the last evolution that starts with the letter E, I cannot evolve it any further. This is a quick Nuzlocke using only E Pokemon. I name myself E and immediately get into trouble with my horrible friend. I select Piplup as my starter as it evolves into Empoleon and defeat my rival and his stupid Turtwig. I name Piplup Emperor, grind up through Jubilife City, and defeat my rival once again. I make it to Orberg City and get Emperor to the level cap. It's time to take on the first gym leader, Rourke and his rock Pokemon. The plan here is to spam water type attacks. Bubble is able to knock Geodude out in 1 hit. Onix can't quite be killed in 1 hit, but Emperor only takes a bit of damage before knocking Onix out. Finally, it's the super fast, super strong Cranidos, who does significant damage with Headbutt and also flinches me. Emperor number 1 can't hang, and we go down to Rourke. While I grapple with the fact that I can't even beat a gym where I have the type advantage, let me tell you about the sponsor of this video, Abomination. Abomination is an indie game created by one guy who was inspired by the Nuzlocke challenge. It's a roguelike monster tamer where every Abami and area is randomized, so no 2 runs will be the same. Your Abamis can also permanently die, but that can be customized, alongside customization for difficulty, randomizers, and level caps. As someone who values his time, I also appreciate that your Abamis level up together, which means no grinding, no EVs or IVs, just pure chaos. My team of Abamis were basically unstoppable, until Bubble Dog felt the cruel touch of death. But don't worry, we can still visit his grave. I'll never forget you, Bubble Dog. You can recruit over 100 different Abamis, and there are more free updates on the way. If you're a fan of Nuzlockes, and something tells me you are, you have to check out Abomination. Check out the description of this video for a link to the game, which is out now on PC. On attempt 2, I trained Emperor to have better attack, defense, and HP. Emperor is able to OHKO Geodude again, but he's actually slower than Onix, which is just embarrassing. Onix lowers my defense by 2 stages, but this time I am able to kill it in 1 hit. That means I'm full health but very vulnerable against Cranidos. Rourke decides to lower my defense even more, and Bubble is not quite a 2-hit KO. Even at -3, Emperor is able to hang on from a headbutt, and that attack puts Emperor into Torrent, so it can kill Cranidos. That gives us our first badge. Emperor also evolves after this battle, and I teach him Rock Tomb to get through the Ravaged Path. I also pick up an absolutely critical item, the TM for Pluck. Next up is the surprisingly challenging fight against Commander Mars. I got Emperor to level 20 just to be ready for this fight. First up is Zubat, who Emperor can take out with 1 Bubble Beam. Finally, it's the real challenge, Purugly, who starts with a Fake Out. Because of my high defense, Purugly's attacks aren't doing too much to me, and Bubble Beam would be a 2-hit KO if not for the Oran Berry. To avoid putting Purugly in healing range, I use the worst attack, Rock Smash. Then I tank 1 more hit and kill Purugly with Bubble Beam. Unfortunately, this decision causes me to over-level in the Eterna Forest before the second gym. So next time, Emperor can't fight Commander Mars at level 20. I reset a few times trying to find a Piplup with plus attack, and eventually get one I like on attempt 8. This time, I train only on Shinxes to get attack EVs, and make sure to avoid any unnecessary battles to preserve experience. This time against Rourke, Onix thankfully goes for a Rock Throw instead of Screech, so my defense is only -1 after a Leer from Cranidos. Headbutt still does a lot of damage, but so do I now that I'm in Torrent. I also get a clutch speed drop, which ends up not mattering because Rourke just goes for a potion and I can knock out Cranidos. Now I'm level 19 for the Mars fight. and this causes me to not one-hit KO Zubat. I assumed I would still one-hit KO, so I didn't put a Pecha on Emperor. Now I have to deal with Purugly and Toxic Poison. Things are looking dire before I've even attacked. Thankfully, Scratch doesn't do too much damage, and I can 2-hit KO as long as I'm in Torrent. Emperor hangs on, and I can knock out Purugly before I succumb to the Toxic Poison. In Gardenia's gym, you're actually required to fight all the trainers so you can make that little clock hand move. Because of that, it's actually impossible not to overlevel. Okay, it might be possible if I go into every fight underleveled before this, but Gardenia's already going to be really hard for me with one water Pokemon. So I'm giving myself the grace to have one level advantage. Okay, time to fight Gardenia. This is where my attack EVs and the Pluck TM come into play. Pluck gives me a super effective move against all the Pokemon in this gym, but Turtwig putting up a Reflect significantly minimizes the damage I can do with Pluck. I can still kill Turtwig, but Reflect is up when Charon comes out. The best strategy is to still go for Pluck, and Charon using Safeguard is the best case scenario, since I wasn't going to use any status moves. Magical Leaf is a 2-hit KO against me though, and Pluck is like a 4-hit KO. One more Magical Leaf, and that's it for attempt number 8. I didn't even get to see Roserade. Usually after these really hard early gym fights, I'll play around with the battle to see if I can find any consistent strategies. Finding any sort of consistent strategy in this fight was really, really hard. Honestly, I probably tried this fight 100 times and I never won. Mind you, this is also with a higher level cap, which also allows me to learn the move Bide that could potentially come in handy. From my numerous attempts at this, I figured out what I would basically need to happen. First, I need to get a crit somewhere in the battle, whether that's on Turtwig to prevent a Reflect, or later against Roserade so it doesn't completely obliterate me. In most cases, I actually need 2 crits to win. I also need Gardenia's Pokemon to do exactly what I want them to do. That includes Charon trying to use Safeguard, and Roserade trying to use Stun Spore. You can't predict these though. The chance for all these things to happen right in a row is really small. Basically, I need to play a significant amount of this game just to get a 1% chance of winning this fight. That's not really something I'm interested in doing. I scoured the internet for any possible way I could get another encounter. I'm completely blocked from going further in the game to get an EV. I even considered quote-unquote playing in dual slot mode so that I could get additional encounters. I mean, that's just as desperate as you can get. I decided, as far as I'm concerned, Pokemon Platinum is not possible with just a Pokemon, or at least that's the case for anyone who values their mental health. However, I'm not going to end the challenge here. There is still a game where you can get a starting Pokemon with the letter E, and that is the Gen 5 games. I've already played Gen 5 for the A and D letter lock, so to make this different, I'll be playing on White 2 Challenge Mode. I name myself E, and select Tepig as my starter, as it evolves into Emboar. I name him Empanada, and he has a lax nature, which increases defense and lowers special defense, which is whatever. There are no other encounters before the first gym, so Empanada has to take on Charon by himself. In challenge mode, Charon has a Patrat, a Pidove, and a Lillipup. That's a lot of potential attacks for one little pig to handle. My strategy is to get to +6 defense by using Defense Curl. And in perfect unison, Patrat goes for Workup so that he increases his attack and special attack as I increase my defense. He only knows physical attacks though, so by the time that this dance is done, we're still even. Now, I can take out Patrat as if no status moves were used at all, and only get minimal damage in the process. The rest of Charon's team only know physical moves as well, so when Lillipup comes out, I'm at +6 defense and there's nothing Charon can do about it. I'm able to knock out Lillipup and Pidove without dipping below half health. Setup moves. They're good. It's on to Verbank City, and more importantly, Verbank Complex, so we can get our next encounter. That encounter is Elekid, who I catch and name Edwin after famous Electabuzz Aldrin. Edwin has an adamant nature, and while that's not ideal for Electabuzz, it actually has a decent attack stat, so Edwin can use physical or special attacks. Training up for the second gym allows Empanada to evolve into Pignite, and now the team is ready to take on Roxy and her Poison-type Pokemon. This is more of a battle of attrition than anything else, so Edwin's job is to take out Coughing eventually, which he is able to do at about half health. I'm risking a crit, but I decide to stay in and attack. I'm able to land my own crit, as Grimer just disables my shockwave. Now that some damage is done, I don't want to risk crit again, so I switch into Empanada, who handles a Venoshock from Grimer with ease. One Flame Charge can take Grimer out. Roxy's last Pokemon is a Whirlipede, who Empanada has a type advantage against. Empanada can handle Whirlipede's attacks with no problem and knock it out in 2 hits to get our second badge. Time for this pig to be in the city, just like Babe in Babe: Pig in the City. And underneath that city, we can get our next encounter, which is Drillbur, who evolves into Excadrill. I catch him and name him Earthy. The next gym fight is against Berg, but there's not much to see here. Empanada slowly takes out Dwebble before one-hit KOing Carablast and Leaveney. Even in challenge mode, Berg sucks. To get to the next city, you have to go through Join Avenue, which is completely useless nowadays. It's just a huge inconvenience. But now I'm in Nimbasa City, and I do some weird stuff before realizing, wait, I actually missed an encounter. So I go all the way back to Castelia Sewers and into the empty lot to catch Eevee, who I am able to catch. Someone commented on my D letter lock and asked me to name a Pokemon after their dog, and I'm a man of the people, what can I say? So I named Eevee Ella. But the fun for Ella doesn't stop here. If he likes me enough during the daytime, he'll evolve into Espeon. So I grab the Soothe Bell to give to Ella, and now I just need a place to run around for a bit. But where am I going to be able to do that? Ella evolves into Espeon, and we get Electabuzz and Excadrill as well. Now it's time to take on the 4th gym leader, Elisa, and her electric Pokemon. In challenge mode, gym leaders now have 4 Pokemon to deal with, but I have 1 Excadrill, so I should be fine. None of Emolga's moves do much damage to me, but I'm not able to knock it out with Rock Slide. Having leftovers almost completely negates the damage though. Emolga also can't use Volt Switch against me, which is really nice. One more turn of this and I'm able to knock Emolga out. Zebstrika is next, and it gets a Pursuit off before I use Dig. As a side note, Dig plus Leftovers is a great combination. 1 Dig is enough to take it out. Third is Joltik, who I outspeed and kill with Rock Slide. And last is Flaffy, who I also outspeed and kill with Dig. That's a battle with 0 net damage. After the battle, I get my next encounter, an Emolga of my own, who I catch and name Eagle. As a side note, my Espeon has the Synchronize ability. That means if I send Espeon out against my encounters, there's a 50% chance it will pass its nature onto it. My Espeon has a hasty nature, which increases speed and decreases defense. That's a great nature for Emolga, so I do try to pass it on, and it works. I'm also able to catch a Tynamo in Chargestone Cave, who evolves into Electros. I name mine Elver, and also accidentally pass the hasty nature onto it, despite that being a terrible nature. Whoops. Empanada reaches his final evolution, just in time for him to be completely useless against Clay. I spend forever planning for this fight because I have nobody with a type advantage here. So I tried some unique strategies. I send out Electabuzz first, only to take the Intimidate from Krokorok. You may notice that I am not at full health. That is because, like this, Krokorok only sees a kill with Bulldoze, which will guarantee that he uses that move. So, I'll be able to safely switch into Excadrill, with an air balloon, of course. Bulldoze can't hit me, and I use 1 Earthquake to knock out Krokorok. Next out is Onix, who probably has the most annoying ability in the game of Sturdy. So, I use Slash to break Sturdy, as Onix uses Rock Polish to make himself faster than me. Although his Rock Slide doesn't do much to me, it does pop my air balloon, so now I can be hit by super effective ground attacks. I am able to kill him with Earthquake though. Third is Sandslash, and this is where the battle gets pretty challenging. I risk a crit to stay in, which is going to be a common theme in this battle. Earthquake is a 2-hit KO against Sandslash, but so is his Bulldoze, which thankfully doesn't crit, but does lower my speed. Now, if I stay in, I will die. But he only sees a kill with Bulldoze, so I can safely switch in Eagle. Eagle is faster than Sandslash, and always kills with Acrobatics. Unless it doesn't? What the hell is wrong with me? Oh my god. I am in insanely huge trouble now. Clay is about to heal this Sandslash up, and everything on my team will die to a crit. So, on the healing turn, I switch into Empanada, who just barely can't kill with Heat Crash. Empanada will live any non-crit attacks, and a few rolls of crits as well. Empanada is slower after the Bulldoze, so now I have to switch into Ella. Ella has no problem taking the Crush Claw from Sandslash, and then outspeed Sandslash to knock it out. Finally, we have Excadrill. Ella's moves don't do much against Excadrill, but he'll only die to a crit, so I decide to keep him in for a turn. Psychic only does a little bit of damage, and Excadrill uses Bulldoze, which... oh god, this is so awkward. Don't name your Pokemon after people's pets. That's just not a good idea. I have no choice but to bring in my own Excadrill, which I am very hesitant to do because mine has a minus speed nature, so I'm sure Clay's Excadrill will outspeed me. Somehow, I outspeed and win the fight. Oh boy. Ella, we're doing this one for you. In Celestial Tower, I can get my final encounter, Elgium. I catch her and name her E.T. On our way to the next gym, Elver evolves into Electric, and Elgium evolves into nothing. Skyla has given me trouble every time I've played this game, but I've never had this many electric Pokemon before. Actually, in all my letter locks, I've never had an electric Pokemon. Edwin uses Discharge to outspeed and OHKO the Swoobat, outspeed and OHKO the Swanna, and outspeed and OHKO the Sigilyph. I can't OHKO the Skarmory, but I safely take one attack before knocking it out to get our 6th badge. Next, I take this tragedy of an airplane to Lentimus Town, and dispatch my rival with ease. Elver evolves into Eelektross, and now we have our final team of E-Pokemon! In preparation for the 7th gym, I teach Edwin Ice Punch from the Move Tutor, as this will be critical to fighting Drayden and his dragon Pokemon. First up is Dredigan, who Edwin can 2-hit KO with Ice Punch. After the Citrus Berry, Ice Punch is looking like a range to kill, so I risk a crit to go for it. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit the range, although I don't get crit. Since Drayden will just heal Dredigan up, I can go for 2 more Ice Punches to knock it out. The next Pokemon is Flygon, who Edwin can outspeed and 1-hit KO due to its 4 times weakness to ice. The same applies to Altaria as well. The same does not apply for Haxorus though, so I switch into a Pokemon that can take Haxorus's moves and also do some damage in Earthy. However, every time Haxorus uses Dragon Tail, it drags somebody else out, which is kind of annoying. The second time though, Haxorus uses Shadow Claw, so I'm able to stay in. I use Earthquake, which gets a clutch critical hit to get us our 7th badge. At the final gym, we find Marlin and his Water-type Pokemon. Since half my team is electric Pokemon, I'm not expecting a huge challenge here. First up is Wailord, so I send out Elver. Elver can take all of Wailord's attacks and then knock it out in 1 hit. I gave Elver the leftovers, so he should be fine even against a crit burn from Mantine, and then he can knock it out in 1 hit. Caracosta is the issue for my team because it has the ability Sturdy. But I definitely need to switch Elver out, so I switch into Edwin, who takes a Rock Slide from Caracosta. Thunderbolt can kill Caracosta due to its lower special defense, but of course, Sturdy prevents it from fainting. I would be dead to crit here, but Caracosta goes for Shell Smash to lower its defenses and sharply raise its speed. This is wonderful because even at +2 speed, Edwin outspeeds Caracosta. Finally, it's Jellicent, and Edwin can stay in and 2-hit KO Jellicent to get us our 8th and final gym badge. After that, I do all the fun Team Plasma stuff, meet living legends who I promptly ignore, and defeat my rival one last time and make it to the Pokemon League. I made my plan, grinded and EV trained my Pokemon, and went to collect the few items I still needed. One of these items was a flying gem, and while searching through dust clouds, I found this, a shiny Excadrill. The chances of running into a shiny are so low, but the fact that I ran into a shiny that I could actually use is just crazy. I caught him and named him Excalibur, but I had already grinded and EV trained Earthy, so I decided to leave Excalibur behind for the Elite Four.
Mate, you really aren't going to add me to the team?
Wait, you can talk? And are you Australian?
Yeah, don't you know that all moles live in Australia?
That's just not true at all. Regardless, why should I spend all the time to grind and EV train you when I'm literally about to walk into the Elite Four?
Look at me, I'm pink and sparkly.
Alright, I'll bring you on the team. This is it, the moment of truth. On the team, we have my beautiful boy Excalibur the Excadrill, who has a minus special attack nature, which is wonderful. I EV trained him to be fast and strong physically, and he knows 3 attacking moves as well as the setup move Swords Dance. Next, we have Edwin the Electabuzz. With her adamant nature, I made her a physical attacker. She's pretty good across the board, and she can hold the Eviolite because I can't evolve Electabuzz further because it requires an in-game trade. Next, we have Elver the Electros, who has no weaknesses due to the Levitate ability. She's slow but hits pretty hard. Fourth, we have E.T. the LGM. E.T. is definitely the weakest member of the team, being slow and incredibly frail. Since she knows Recover, I also gave her Toxic in case I need to Toxic stall anything. Next, we have my OG, my day 1, my Empanada the Embor. Empanada is a strong physical attacker with really strong moves. And rounding out the team, we have Eagle, the Emolga. Eagle can outspeed almost anything, and is a decent physical attacker. Notice the trend? I have a lot of physical attackers. This team is pretty strong, but I don't have a lot of type coverages. So, we'll see if the E team has what it takes to beat the Elite Four in White 2 Challenge Mode. I decide to take on Caitlyn and her psychic Pokemon first. You'll see why very soon. Musharna comes out first, so I send out Excalibur. Through all of my playthroughs of Gen 5, I've learned that if an opponent has a move that deals a status condition, they will almost always use it. So I'm expecting the Hypnosis from Musharna. This gives me the opportunity to use Swords Dance and get +2 attack. Musharna does go for Hypnosis, and I'm able to wake up right away with my Chesto Berry. Now at +2 attack, I can knock out Musharna with 1 Earthquake. Now I can also knock out the Reuniclus with 1 Earthquake, knock out the Metagross with 1 Earthquake, knock out the Sigilyph with 1 Iron Head, and knock out the Gothitelle with 1 Earthquake. That's a clean sweep of Caitlyn. Next, I decide to take on Grimsley, because my strategy is exactly the same. The only difference is that I need to get 2 Swords Dances off instead of 1. This is fine though, because Liepard can't do anything to me, especially because I have leftovers equipped for this fight. Liepard actually gets a crit Night Slash, but it doesn't even do half, as I set up my first Swords Dance. Liepard doesn't crit me on its second Night Slash, and I get to +4 attack. Liepard actually gets another crit on me. Thankfully, it doesn't matter, as I kill it with +4 Earthquake. The reason I needed to get to +4 is because of Crocodile and his Intimidate, which puts me at +3. Now I can knock out Crocodile with Earthquake. Scrafty is the Pokemon that I couldn't kill at just +1, but at +3, I take it out with no problem. Absol also goes down to an Earthquake. Last is Bisharp, who could cause some chaos because it's holding a Quick Claw. However, with the leftovers, I can be sure that even a Quick Claw proc plus crit won't kill me here. The Quick Claw doesn't happen anyway, and that's another 1 Pokemon takedown of an Elite Four member. Setup moves! They're good! Okay, those first 2 fights were freebies, but this is where the challenge actually starts. First out is Kofagrigus, and I start my setup with Excalibur. I get to +2 as Kofagrigus uses Will-O-Wisp, but I shake off the burn with a Rostberry. From there, Earthquake OHKOs Kofagrigus. Next out is Chandelure, and this is the problem. Chandelure is holding a Choice Scarf, which locks it into 1 move, but also increases its speed by 50%. Even though Excalibur can OHKO here, Chandelure is faster and will almost always kill with Fire Blast. Unfortunately, my team is not set up to take fire moves very well, so I make the decision to send out ET. Not because ET can take a Fire Blast, but because he can't. This little alien sacrifice gives me the ability to switch in Empanada. The most consistent way to kill Chandelure is a head smash from Empanada. I can live a hit plus recoil damage. Unless it crits! Empanada sacrifices himself to take out Chandelure. I'm now down to 4 Pokemon. Chantal sends out Drifblim, and I send out Excalibur. I'm able to use Swords Dance completely safely. Then I knock Drifblim out with an Iron Head, Golurk with an Earthquake, and Banette with an Earthquake. The crits are just not on my side in this run. Marshall is even harder than Chantal because he has 2 Pokemon that can wreck my world. Throw is not one of them. I send out Eagle, and with the flying gem that brought Excalibur into my life, I'm able to use Acrobatics and knock out Throw. I'm expecting Sock to come out next, and it's Conkeldurr. They both had super effective moves against Eagle, so I expected the AI to send out the first one in the team order. I really don't know why Conkeldurr comes out. Anyway, this sucks a lot. The only consistent way that I can kill Conkeldurr is by setting up Swords Dance with Excalibur, and Conkeldurr will for sure kill him before he can set up. So I quickly come up with a new strategy, although it's rough. I switch into Excalibur to take the incoming Stone Edge, and then the Flame Orb on Conkeldurr activates its Guts ability, which increases his already high attack by 50%. Fortunately, the burn on Conkeldurr is what's going to save me. My best bet here is to stall. That means switching into Eagle on the incoming Hammer Arm, and switching back to Excalibur on the Stone Edge. All the while, Conkeldurr's burn is slowly killing it. Excalibur might be able to kill Conkeldurr now, but might isn't good enough. I have to switch back to Eagle and sacrifice it for 1 extra turn of burn damage. Now the range is looking good, and Excalibur can come in and use Earthquake to knock out Conkeldurr. Mineshaw is out next, and Excalibur can kill with Earthquake without even raising its attack. The same situation applies to Lucario. Last is Sock, and this is Marshall's other problem child. Sock is an issue because, you guessed it, sturdy. If I stay in, I will get destroyed by a Brick Break. So I switch into Edwin, who can always take a Brick Break. However, not getting crit here is actually really important. Sock knows that he'll go second here, which means he'll be able to kill with Payback, which means he won't use Brick Break. So Edwin uses Volt Switch to break Sturdy, and I can switch back into Excalibur. Payback will do little damage to me, and now that Sturdy is broken, I can knock Sock out with an Earthquake. We're on to the champion, but we're not in good shape. Just call me Pokemon Challenges because I'm about to attempt a 3 Pokemon champion fight. The difference is that my team is not set up to do well here, and also I'm a big dummy. Edwin can 2-hit KO with Ice Punch or Low Kick, so I go for the one with the freeze chance. The freeze doesn't happen, but Edwin handles the Dragon Pulse. Then Low Kick knocks it out. A Head Smash is incoming here, but I need to get into Excalibur, so I pivot through Elver, who barely hangs on from the Head Smash. I probably should have just sacked Elver here, but instead I switch into Excalibur. Luckily, Aggron just goes for Double Edge. Now I can take Aggron out with an Earthquake. Druddigon is out next, and I can't OHKO it, so I need to set up. I should be safe against any of Druddigon's moves, so I go for a Swords Dance. Druddigon goes for a Fire Punch, and of course, if I had lived that turn, there's a good chance I would have been able to sweep through Iris's team. But that dream is dead. The timing for crits has killed me this run. Edwin kills Druddigon with Ice Punch, but then Elver goes down to Haxorus, and then Edwin does too. The run ends to Iris. I think Black and White 2 might be my nemesis. And you know why if you've seen my A letter lock. Challenge mode wasn't that much trouble for me until the Elite Four. They've really set up those teams to be as frustrating as possible. I decided to run it back just for fun, and I did everything the same except I sacked Elver to Aggron so I could get a safe switch into Excalibur. I decided to do my setup here since I knew Aggron couldn't see a kill, and he just went for Automize. I was faster than him at +2 speed and knocked him out with Earthquake. I can then kill Druddigon with 1 Earthquake and Lapras with 1 Earthquake. Haxorus has a Focus Sash, so Earthquake won't kill, but since I'm at full health, he just goes for Dragon Dance. Then Iris uses a full Restore, and I knock him out with Earthquake. Finally, it's Archeops, who I can take out with 1 Iron Head, and that's Iris. If I had just played a little bit smarter, I could have won this fight no problem. Even though I lost, this was a crazy run. From deeming the platinum run impossible, to losing Ella against Clay, to finding a shiny I could actually use, and then losing the run on another crit. It's been a wild ride. I'd like to thank fellow Nuzlocker Keegan J for bringing my shiny Excadrill to life, and I'd like to thank the team at Abomination for sponsoring the video. There's a link to get the game on Steam in the description below. Be on the lookout for the F letter lock, which will be coming out soon, and it would mean the world to me if you subscribed, liked the video, and left a comment. What did you like about this run, or what can I do to make the run more enjoyable? I'd love to hear from all of you. This has been a quick Nuzlocke using only E-Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching.